Hello, YouTube. A long time ago, before I wanted this NCUK thing, I wanted to be like rising the ranks of like the corporations. You know, I wanted to be like CEO one day, and then I like worked for a big corporation, which I'll talk about another time. And I realised how much you get shit on when you're at the bottom, and the way to work yourself up to the top is not because you're better, which is how I thought it was and how I thought it was possible, which I know sounds cocky, but there's a fine line sometimes between confidence and being cocky. And I realised when I tried to work up that you don't get anywhere by being good at a job. You get there by kissing the arse of the guy above you, and I couldn't do that, and that just drained the motivation for me to want to work up that system. But then I started looking at how unfair it is as well. Eventually I came to wanting to just make my own business and start being like more ethical business where people liked working with me. No one worked for someone, everyone worked together. That was how it worked, and that would work well because if people enjoyed what they were doing, they would do it better. And then I went on this journey of self-development thanks to things like the iPower project, which I'll put a link to in the description. And I came across all kind of things where I realised like the world is the way it is because the system creates inequality out of just poor design. I don't think it was designed on purpose to create inequality, which is what many people think. I think the system was made in such a way that created inequality, not the other way around. It's not a system of inequality. It was created, and then because of it there is inequality. And then when I got to that, I was like, make a news site and then do stuff for charity, and then you realise you can't really just do stuff for charity. It's so fucked up that you can't, if you wanted to contribute to society by working for charities, doing voluntary work, that the system will spit you out because you're not paying taxes, and that doesn't mean you're contributing to society. Eventually I came to the idea of like a gaming site and giving the money, like, you know, earning just enough to survive and giving the rest to charities. I started building that while I was on my little journey of self-development. Eventually, through looking at the world, I came across something called the Zeitgeist Movement and the Venus Project, and I'll put a link to the films or an annotation or something. I'm not really a part of the Zeitgeist Movement anymore. There's just so much controversy there that I don't like to be considered a member of it because I don't want to be a part of something. Well, I'd like to be a part of what it was meant to be, but it's become something too conflicted. Whenever you go on the Facebook groups, there's always something bad going on, and I've contributed to it in like so many positive ways, but every now and then, you know, I'll be baited, I'll be taunted, and I'll take the bait and I'll argue back, and then I'll be accused of not contributing. You know, I'm just not constructive what I'm doing. Who am I? What have I done for the Zeitgeist Movement? It's a train of thought. It's just a group where people can like discuss things, not a group where you're actually going to do anything. It's just flame wars all the time. So then the site changed and I came up with the whole mission statement, and that's what it's really been about. But then there is like the fact that you do need to make a living off it. I don't want to make a living off what I enjoy, so that's where the gaming kind of thing comes from. But I don't care about that so much. If I have to get a job just to survive, I'll still do it because I kind of want to bring people to the site and help them learn about things. But then there's the whole, I don't want to make people feel as though they're being tricked into coming to a site that promotes charity from something totally unrelated. And I think the crew at AtheneLive can sympathise with me there because they've been accused of the same things. I mean, if you look at Wrath of the League King and then look at the team behind it and all they've done to combat net neutrality, to combat teen suicide and people doing suicide online, you know, sexism. Right now they're working on Sharecraft, and that's what I'm trying to do as well right now. That's what I'm focusing on. That's why the site is basically, you know, nothing's going on right now because I just focus on Sharecraft all the time. The reason it's called NorthernCorner, by the way, is just because I was going to have like a game site for people from like where I live, which is like up north, so just NorthernCorner. It was a really cheap URL domain, I got really cheap. There's no kind of hidden message with that, and it won't really count anymore when I move to Plymouth in a few months. I feel like the site is taking one of these turns, and we're not being entertaining or funny anymore. It's just all too serious, and I hope that goes.